Welcome back to the nameless college football show where we don't have a name or graphics, but we do have the most entertaining analysis in the universe, probably. I am Brandon, as always, joined by my beautiful co-host, Captain Petey. Petey, how's it going?
Can't complain too much at this point.
That's good. I appreciate that. So I said Captain Petey because he often finds himself in a captain's chair. But today, we're talking about coaches on the hot seat. Petey, we're a couple weeks in here. Some teams have really stunk it up, though. So, whose seat is the hottest? I want to start with Coach Billy Napier from Florida. Just lost to South Florida, who might be the best team in the nation for all we know.
Yeah, at least the best team in Florida.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So how hot is Coach Billy Napier's seat?
Oh, it is steamy. He's how long has he been there? This is third or fourth year. I think it's his fourth, right?
I believe so. Same time as Beamer, right? Because that's who we were kind of looking at too when that came open.
I mean, at this point in your coaching career, you should have, or stint at Florida, you should have turned things around. We've not seen a vast improvement in Florida in that amount of time. Some would say Beamer was actually the better hire over Napier at this point.
Incredible.
Although expectations of Florida are much higher. So
yes, for sure. For sure. That's a national championship winning program. We are not that delusional as Gamecock fans. We're actually pretty realistic, I'd say.
Overall, there's a few crazies out there, but there always are.
Yes, fourth year for Napier at Florida. They were 8-5 last year. I do agree that seat is starting to get pretty steamy. I think the big thing for me, we talked about it in the preview episode for the college football season. Florida has a terrible schedule.
Yeah.
So they already had an uphill battle. And if you're losing to South Florida, that was not one of the games we expected them to lose. Now, South Florida clearly better than we thought they were going to be. But that one is tough. And they looked pathetic doing it, only scoring 16 points. Coach Billy.
So, Florida has already played all of their supposed cupcake teams of the year. They beat, was it Long Island Tech?
Long Island, which I didn't even know had a football team. Yeah.
And then they lost to South Florida. And then next week, who did they play?
We got at LSU, at Miami.
Yeah.
Got an off week. Texas at home, at Texas A&M, Mississippi State at home.
That's the one team that they have another should be very beatable is Mississippi State, but they just beat ASU.
Yes,
so
that might be tougher than we thought. Then of course Georgia, big rivalry game in Jacksonville, and then at Kentucky might be their chance for their third win is against Kentucky, assuming they can handle business at home against Mississippi State.
That's a big if. That
would be 3-5 at that point.
Yeah, and if they haven't won another game by the time they get to Mississippi State, is Napier even still there?
Yeah, and it's very weird because everything I've read about him, he's a huge attention to detail guy. Hired like 340 assistants. I think he's cut down on it, but was very big on following his practice plan to the second and everything. And that just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter if you look as sloppy as they look on the field. Doesn't matter.
Well, and the thing is, they've got so much talent there. They've had high expectations the last couple of years, and it just seems to fall flat. I would be extremely surprised if things don't turn around quickly that if he's still there at the end of the season.
Napier, you're in a lot of trouble, buddy, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you heard it here first, so it shouldn't be a shock to you. And you've probably heard it everywhere you go in Gainesville.
He heard it when they were chanting it at the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, next up, someone who we are familiar with because we beat them. We are on the Gamecocks, in case y'all didn't know. I'm the backup tight end. Brent Pry, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, like we said, lost week 1 to South Carolina in Atlanta. Last week against Vandy, just a despicable game in the second half. I remember checking the score and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Virginia Tech is maybe they're decent and that means we're good. I can be excited. And then it was like, no, you can't be excited because they're actually pretty terrible. So, Petey, Brent Pry, is he going to get out of the door sooner than Billy Napier?
You know, the thing is, Virginia Tech, they don't have as high of standards. Like, they're not as...
That's the way to
They
be.
haven't won a national championship that I can remember. Maybe they won one like 50 years ago, but
Yeah.
uh,
A little before
the
our time.
expectations are not as harsh there as they are at Florida. But he is... I mean, you go into halftime against Vanderbilt up 20-10, and then
Yes.
you get, 37 points scored on you the second half to nothing?
Yeah.
That is just embarrassing. That's some Gamecock football right there. I don't know how. I mean, I think we might have given Drones a cold or something, and it's just got long COVID or something. And but this is extremely disappointing for Virginia Tech fans, and I can't. They were not happy with him to start the season, and I can't see that they're going to be much happier at the end of the season.
No, I was looking. I had a stat saved somewhere, but I lost it because I'm sleep deprived. I'm not gonna lie. I've got a new child, and I'm sleep deprived. But that was just. You're right. 44-20 was the final of that game. 34 points in the second half. 34-0. They were outscored in the second half. I don't know how that happens because Vandy's turning things around as a program.
Yeah.
We will talk about them more later. But they haven't turned things around that much.
No,
And just to not make a single adjustment.
they just got gashed.
Ugh.
Like, they could not stop the run. Like, they couldn't stop Diego, and they could not stop the run at all in the second half. I don't know what happened. They just went into either Vandy came out in the second half all pissed off, or Virginia Tech just thought that they had it in the bag already won by the time they came out in the second half. But that was a completely different ball. Like two different sides of the same coin. After halftime, it was ridiculous how
Really
terrible it was.
weird. I don't know what could have possibly happened for that to go down. So, yeah, like you said, expectations aren't what they are at Florida, but they've got to be getting fed up over there, and you can't do that. So 0-2 to start the season, 2 pretty ugly losses. Good luck to Brent Pry. You're gonna need it,
We
buddy.
made Virginia Tech look really good in the first, week one.
Yeah,
Compared-
yeah,
and
which is a
then-
problem.
Then they just go and do that against Vandy. That just makes me real nervous about next week.
Yeah, not a huge, not a glowing sign of good things to come for South Carolina, but that's just kind of what it's like being a South Carolina fan. The man we're talking about next has been around a long ass time, and it kind of seems like his act is wearing thin. Mike Gundy, you knew it was going to be bad when he opened up the week complaining about how much NIL money Oregon gets compared to Oklahoma State. It ended poorly with 69-3.
Yeah,
And I wonder how much of that too was Dan Lanning taking those comments, because he did respond to them. I wonder if he took those comments personally and was like, we're going to run up the score on you because I hate you. And I don't know how much of a fight Oklahoma State was going to put up either way. But
Yeah.
always very sad when you see a team with the I think 3 points might be sadder than just getting shut out completely.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at that game in the third quarter, and I think it was 69-3 already. So I don't
Yeah.
know what happened in the fourth, but the score didn't change. I think Oregon was just putting out their fifth strings out there just to get them some playing time. But
Yeah, I think it was just random students playing.
the Gundy saying, they get so much more NIL money. It's like, y'all are Oklahoma State. It's not like y'all are destitute. You can get money. This has been a historically good program in the past. I don't
That
know what
is
happened
what
with
killed
NIL. When NIL came around, they all just went, nosedived. But what do they have? 3 wins last year?
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
something gross. So that's what killed me about his comments is because their stadium is named after an oil tycoon, T. Boone
Right.
Pickens, who
Yeah.
gave them what at the time the largest single gift given to an athletic program ever. I think it was like right at when Gundy was hired at Oklahoma State. And he's giving them all this oil money, and it's not like it's Oklahoma State. You're right. Like it's not like it's some small school. It's not Long Island or the Citadel. It's Oklahoma State, and you're complaining about NIL money. You're in the Big 12. Get a grip.
You're in
Have
a
some
very
pride.
winnable conference, and I mean, Texas Tech went out there and did the same. Like they just went and bought a new team. Why is this such a unfathomable concept that you can get players to come to Oklahoma? If you give them money, they will come.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, I expected better from him because I do know he's a man. He's 58. And it's been 18 years since that
I
happened.
know. It's been so, and he had been there for a while before that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, Mike Gundy. So
He's got to be the
Napier-
longest tenured coach in the country, I would think.
yeah, not for long, maybe. So
Well, yeah.
Napier
who else? He's been
Pry-
there, at least 20 years.
yeah,
Who else has been there even
I think
closer?
2005 he was hired. So
Yeah.
Napier, Pry, Gundy. Whose seat is the hottest so far? Who's at the top of this list?
I mean, if it was me personally, I would say Gundy's got to go. He's shown nothing in the last 3-4 years, or even have a semblance of being able to adjust to the NIL. But Napier has got much more pressure on him from
Yeah.
the fan base. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Gundy ever.
Yeah, they've kind of just faded into obscurity, which is not
Yeah.
good for
Yeah.
your football program.
Almost like
So
they
I do agree. I think Billy Napier is the leader in the clubhouse. Can we knock him off with Deshaun Foster from UCLA? Second year coaching, 5-7 last year.
Yeah. Before what were they before? Were they winless before he got there?
I'll have to check. I know that they did have Chip Kelly, and he left
Oh, that's right.
to be an
He went to
offensive
be the
coordinator.
OC at Ohio State, I think.
Yep, which kind of tells you about where the UCLA program is at the moment.
Yeah. I think Deshaun Foster is probably safe.
Okay.
I mean, obviously they look terrible against Utah. I think Utah's actually a good team, though.
Yeah.
They potentially could get into they could win the Big 12 or what? I mean, what are they in Big 12 or 10?
They're in the Big Ten now.
10. God, they're so confusing.
It's ridiculous. That's the ridiculous thing about everything we're talking about. None of these conferences make sense, and we cannot forget that. No matter how many coaches need to be fired, it is stupid that the athletic directors allowed this to happen, and they should be fired first because I hate them. I had all these conferences memorized for my whole life.
Right.
And now I'm flipping through my pages that are separated by conference, and I can't remember which school is where, and it's stupid. But
Remembering Big 10 and Big 12 is all confusing now because it's all just a jumble of Pac-12 that got mixed in a bunch and then flipped around. So
So UCLA 5-7 last year under Foster in his first season. 8 wins the year before that, 9 wins the year before that, 8 wins the year before that, and then 3-4 in the COVID year that was shortened. I think my issue with UCLA and Deshaun Foster kind of comes down to quarterback Nico I gotta say his name right. I'm sorry. Let me lock in real quick. Liava, I think is how you say it. Someone will let me know.
That's right or not.
I keep wanting to call him I am a Leva because that was the joke that was made
Oh
about
yeah,
him
yeah.
so many times. But the Tennessee
Yeah.
transfer quarterback, we all know teams tamper with players all the time. They did it pre-NIL. They definitely do it now. I know it came out Auburn was trying to get Lenoris Sellers because Hugh Freeze does that. And it's a scumbag move, but people do it. But when it comes out the way that it did with Liava, that his dad was shopping for more money during, I think it was the week of the spring game at Tennessee. And they called his bluff and were like, we're not going to give it to you. And then he transfers over to UCLA and has
Didn't his
not
brother
been
there,
good.
too?
I think so. Or he's like committed there. I don't know if he's in college yet. So if you do all that out in the public and you get caught participating in this very common, I will admit, scumbag behavior publicly, and you get the recruit and you still stink, to me, that is an embarrassment on the program. And it just depends on how much UCLA can withstand being embarrassed. I imagine,
They probably have a high tolerance.
yeah, this is not what you
can't-
would consider a football school. This is a basketball school, and the basketball program on the men's side hasn't been very good recently, and they've been kind of okay with it. I think women's basketball is carrying the school at the moment. So,
The last time I remember UCLA being any good was when they had Brett Hundley at the quarterback.
Oh.
I think that was like mid-teens, something like that.
I was going to go back even further and name a McCown. But you're right. They have been notable on a national level since then. But I've got Cade McCown in my brain,
Okay.
and I think. Let me see how old he is. This is what's wrong with me, and this is what sleep deprivation does.
Probably
In case y'all are
40s.
curious, he graduated college in 1998.
Oh, well, shit, he's got to be then.
He's Mike Gundy's age, I bet.
55?
He's 40. He's 48. He's 48 years old.
Okay.
So he's just a little bit younger than Mike Gundy, but not by much. He's older than 40. So, but he's not 58 like Mike Gundy. But I think I'm doing that because I have a very vivid memory of him violently vomiting on the field in the middle of a game. And so that's just who I associate with UCLA football, and kind of speaks to the state of UCLA football right now.
Vomit on the field.
Yeah. So
I get it.
I do agree his seat is hot, not hotter than Billy Napier's.
No.
We have a couple of other places we could go next. Which one would you like to talk about?
One they've been chanting for the last, ever since he was hired, or since week 1 of last year, was Alabama, Kalen DeBoer.
Yes.
Thing is, he's not going anywhere. So we can mention him, but he's not. They owe him like $150 million just to do nothing. It's not going to happen.
He's more likely to get shot dead in the streets by a fan.
Yeah,
than
that's
he
how
is
they
to
get out of
fired.
that contract. Which even still, they might have to pay his wife or something.
Probably have to pay his family. There'd probably be a lawsuit involved too.
Yeah.
It'd be just way too much trouble. He'll get assassinated. Unfortunately, I want to be clear. We're not pulling for him to get assassinated.
No,
We're just saying he
absolutely not.
will get assassinated. We would be sad, but yeah, they would still have to pay that out.
They're just going to take one out on him. They can't tolerate losing.
No, which is funny because a losing season in Alabama, a bad Alabama season, is something I would assassinate someone for as a South Carolina fan.
Yeah,
But no, I think you're right. I don't think he's going anywhere. Who else could be getting fired here?
Mark Stoops.
Mark Stoops.
Which I feel
That
like
would be
he
funny.
is a dinosaur. Really,
Yeah.
how is he even still in? I mean, the Stoops family overall, like they've been around for 50
They just
years.
keep
I think.
making more of them.
How do they keep getting into these mediocre roles of football coaches? I feel like Stoops. So Stoops is, I think, the most winningest coach in Kentucky history. He's won 5 games a year, I think, but he's been there for like 18 years.
2018 SEC Coach of the Year.
Really?
And you know what he did? He messed up with in 2018 and then again in 2021. He won 10 games at Kentucky. And you just shouldn't do that.
No,
He raised the bar too high.
unless you're Bear Bryant, you can't do that.
Yep. And so if he had just stayed in that 5 to 7 win, oh my gosh. Yeah. Because let's see. He started coaching there in 2013. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons between 5 and 7 wins. If he just stayed there, he could have kept his job. That's all they really want there. They're too busy waiting for basketball season. 7 wins, let's go to a bowl game. That's all. He could have stayed there forever, but the fact that he hit on those 2 10-win seasons, that's where he messed up.
Yeah.
And a lesson to us all.
He made them forget about basketball for a minute and think that football was a viable subject for them to focus on, and that was the wrong initiation for them. But
Because he got into it with John Calipari when he was coaching at Kentucky about all the attention shouldn't go to basketball. And almost immediately after he said that, they fired Calipari, and Stoops started losing all the games. They gave him a huge extension, and he has not been good since.
I mean, Kentucky, it's like they're kind of a step above what historically Vanderbilt is. We think Vanderbilt's great when they win 6 games. And then Kentucky was like, oh, they won 7 games. They're not terrible this year. Prior to like the year that they were supposed to be really awesome was when they had DeAndre Woodson. When we beat them by like 1 billion points at home with Eric.
That guy was awesome. I did enjoy watching him play. But yeah, we did beat them. I thought he was going to be a great NFL player because I'm an idiot, but we beat them. And they were supposed to be good then. And when else were they good? They were good by good. Ooh, again, that was the first 10-win season since 1977 for them when he did it. So
Jared Lorenzen was the last time before that.
Rest in peace to the Pillsbury throw boy. And then Tim Couch. Yeah. Because he just got out there and he would just sling it. Yeah. And he looked ridiculous doing it, but he made it work. And, man, yeah, I hate that he died.
Fat quarterback. You don't see fat quarterbacks anymore.
No, and you should, because it's just a beautiful sight.
Extra padding. You can take a hit better.
Yeah.
You're not going to run. You can take a hit.
You knew what he was back there to do.
Yeah.
And he still was slinging it around the field. And it's not like you weren't putting a spy on him. You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have just historically bad. And Stoops raised the bar just enough to screw himself over. And so, yeah, now I think his seat is heating up. Not more than Napier's. Again, I think he wins this competition, but I do think his seat is heating up. What about Iowa, Kirk Ferentz? What are we doing with him?
I feel like they should have moved on with him like 1 billion years ago. There's been exactly no points scored in the state of Iowa because of this team for 20 years, seems like. They can't find an offense to save their lives. And they beat Iowa State this year, or this past weekend, 16-13.
Iowa State won that game.
Right. That's right. Sorry, I meant that way. Yeah.
Yeah. There's too many Iowas. Is the problem.
They're when they do win games, it's their punter won the game for them. And then when teams beat them, it's because they scored 16 points.
Yes. That is the problem. I do think he's just there to collect a check out of spite after they made him fire his son. When I knew they were unserious, they had the kid Cooper DeJean, who
Yeah.
was like just this incredible white defensive back punt returner, and they did not try him on offense at all. And that's when I was like, oh, they don't want to score points because they're not even doing anything thinking outside of the box.
He's also like the anomaly, fantastic white cornerback too, which you never see. You haven't seen one of those in a long time. But
I always go back to Jason Sehorn.
yeah, I mean, but this you could have used the kid both ways, like they did
Yeah.
Trent Center, last year. That's just.
It's lazy.
They focus on one side of the ball, and that's it.
Yeah, it's really stupid. And another famous white cornerback I have to bring up, Lee Corso.
Yeah.
Tied for third all time in interceptions at Florida State with Deion Sanders, which is very funny. But I don't know. I think.
What was Corso playing? Was it like 60?
Well, the man is 132 years old. So it was a while ago. I didn't even know they threw the ball back then. And it was whenever Iowa's offense would be considered modern. So I think what's working against Ferentz is that he has been there so long that I think they're sick of his shit.
Yeah.
And this happened in college basketball with Jim Boeheim, where he refused to stop playing zone defense and was also just not friendly. He was a jerk and would not retire, kept acting like he was going to retire and just wouldn't leave. And finally they were like, well, you're retired now, bucko. And so he is now. He's on ESPN talking shitty as an analyst. And I think that's where Kirk Ferentz is headed.
Ferentz is like he's done enough. Their expectations in Iowa are so low there that he's done enough just to stay right above the line to where they like, who are going to find this better? But really, he's playing, he's playing offense like he's still got Lee Corso out here defending against him. It's 1958, and the forward pass is something we've never even considered.
Yes. So I did get a stat related to Iowa from friend of the show and Turn the Page Travel founder, owner, James Page. Nebraska's backup has thrown 9 passes this year, and he has more passing yards than Iowa. So that's pretty much all we needed to say during that segment. But I think Ferentz should be on the way out.
If you're an Iowa fan, how are you not disgusted just watching them not score any points for the last 10 years?
You have to be, because the thing about it is, what are they if they score points?
They're national champions.
Yes.
By a long
But they don't.
shot.
Because their defense is incredible. Their special teams, like they always find this god of a punter, like you were saying. Defense doesn't allow.
I'd be going, if I wanted to punt, I would be all day. Sign me up for Iowa. I'm gonna go to Iowa. You can pay me half whatever else pays me. Just let me go to Iowa. I'll get 3 times as much tape as any other punter in the country.
Oh yeah, you're gonna punt your leg off. I think that's the big thing about being an Iowa fan, is that you're missing this very fundamental part of the game, and it's causing you to miss out on contending for a national title. You're not just bad, but you're not contending for a national title. And they did. We just talked about Jared Lorenzen in 2023, I believe. Deacon Hill played quarterback at Iowa. He was pretty fat, so shout out to Deacon Hill. He wasn't Jared Lorenzen fat, but he was fatter than a quarterback should be. So I think that's it as far as truly hot seat guys, unless you want to throw someone else out there that I've forgotten. I don't think anybody's beaten Napier. Napier
nobody's beating. Yeah,
he's the winner.
He's obviously the winner. You can talk about Satterfield at Cincinnati, but I mean, it's Cincinnati. They're just gonna.
Yeah.
He'll stick around another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
Yeah. So, moving on to a much better slate of games this week, I feel like. Which ones are catching your eye? Let us know, Petey. I was going to follow it up with something, and I just forgot what I was going to say. Because once again, I don't want to harp on this. Sleep deprived.
Yep.
I've got a child y'all can talk to about this. If you have a problem with me and the way I talk.
We'll be all right. Well, we understand.
Yeah. We'll figure this out.
Yeah. So the game I'm most interested in is Miami and USF.
Yes.
We're going to find out really how good USF is. Because obviously Florida, we don't know how good they really are. We don't know how good Boise is either. We have a pretty good idea how good Miami is because they beat Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame probably could have pulled that game out if if they figured things out a little sooner. But Miami's for real. They might be the best team in Florida, but USF it might say something different about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I watched the highlights of the Florida game with USF, and man, they've got a good quarterback that can escape, and they've got that kid Isaac. He's gonna break tackles. So I'm not sure how good Miami's defense is yet, but we'll find out on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that one. The spread, did you see the spread?
I think I did, but I forgot what it was.
It opened at 15.5, and it's up to 18.5 on ESPN. I don't gamble because why would I? But the fact that it's that big is kind of weird to me. So I hope it's a lot closer than that.
Technically, it's a Miami. It's a home game for Miami, but it's not, these schools are hour and a half apart from each other. It's not.
Yeah. And Miami Stadium is like an hour and a half away from campus.
Miami has to get on a bus and drive an hour to get to the stadium. So I don't know. There's not going to be like a true home field advantage, I guess. I think there's probably more Miami fans than USF fans out there, but just because it's Miami.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably a closer game than we are going to anticipate. The USF's defense stopped Lagway, shut them down. So this is not going to be a cakewalk for Miami.
No, and you've got a guy as good as he's been this season so far. Carson Beck will make some mistakes. He had good numbers against Notre Dame, but there were plays that I feel like Notre Dame could have made to turn that game around, specifically regarding Beck, and they didn't do it. And a defense like South Florida could.
He's not as he's more of a game manager than anything. He's not dynamic. He's a good quarterback and everything, but he's not like Heisman elite level type quarterback. He's very serviceable for what Miami needs. They've got great receivers and everything, so he'll do fine. But that kid Brown at USF, he can escape the pocket. So I don't know. No, Miami's got to be ready for that.
Yes. The next game I would like to talk about, always a fun one, Georgia and Tennessee. Georgia number 6, Tennessee number 15. Supposed to be a close one. The spread's actually gotten closer for whatever Vegas knows, which seems to be a lot because they rarely go out of business out there. Down to 3.5. Opened at 6.5. And the ESPN matchup predictor actually has it a Tennessee win.
Really?
By 51.5%. The Vegas has a 3.5 point spread in favor of Georgia winning that one. So we could be in store for a good one here. Joey Aguilar, who was supposed to be UCLA's quarterback, after quarterbacking App State, but got pushed out with Iami Aliava. That transfer situation, they basically just traded quarterbacks. We just talked about Carson Beck. He left Georgia. They now have Gunnar Stockton. What do you think about this, Petey? I don't know why I'm asking you that in such a weird way.
I did not see a lot of potential out of Georgia last week when they played Austin Peay. I mean, Tennessee, they beat up Syracuse. They gave up some points to Syracuse. I can't remember who they play last week.
ETSU.
Yeah. Who cares about that?
That is correct. Yeah. Unfortunately for ETSU, they did put up 72 points, but I mean,
yeah, the Austin Peay game for Georgia says a lot more about Georgia than that ETSU game says about Tennessee. The thing is, Tennessee's going to put up points. They have got a good offense. I'm not overly hyped on their defense. I think they're a decent defense, kind of similar to how they were last year. Can Georgia control the ball and just power it down their throat? Probably. But are they going to be able to keep up with Tennessee's offense? So I think technically Georgia's the better team overall. Gunnar Stockton, first-year starter, going into a hostile environment. Neyland Stadium is one of the loudest places you'll ever go to. This is a top 10 matchup. Is that right?
Tennessee's just on the outside, 15.
15? Okay. Yeah, I mean, they got Georgia coming to town. That place is going to be rocking. So I think Georgia ekes this out.
Yeah.
It might be a 1 or a 3-point game, though.
Yeah, and to tie it all together, since we've talked about a lot of quarterbacks changing positions, and we just talked about Iowa's offense being so terrible. Their former starting quarterback, Cade McNamara, is now the starting quarterback at East Tennessee State University. So there you go. But you're right. This offense for Tennessee looks more like the version that Josh Heupel had in 2022 when we kept him out of the playoff, which is more, I think that's more their speed than what they were doing last year, because Heupel's a guy who likes to sling it and run it up against the likes of ETSU. But as bad as Georgia has looked so far, to me, this is the real test of what version of Georgia we're getting, because if Kirby Smart can't get them up to play Tennessee after the way they looked last week and all the expectations coming into the season once again, then we might be looking at more of a down year for Georgia than we had expected. And this has just been kind of the Georgia vibe here after the national championships, when they've been trying to regain their spot on top. It hasn't been a talent issue. It's been more of a motivation issue and probably a quarterback issue too.
Yeah.
Not that, my goodness, Stetson Bennett was fantastic, but he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if these other guys have so far.
I mean, they were really down on Beck. There was a lot of turmoil between him and I guess the fan base really over there. And I don't know what the impression they've gotten out of Gunnar Stockton yet. I don't think we have much information to really tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, he can run the ball, but he'll get his head taken off too at some point.
Yes. And I don't know what they have behind him either. So
yeah, I have no idea. Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird with Georgia, because we talk about Georgia did not look how we expected Georgia to look last season, but they still were able to win a lot of big games. Like they beat Tennessee last year when Tennessee was number 6. They beat Texas when Texas was number 2 in the SEC championship game. They beat Clemson to open up the season. They beat Texas again earlier that year when Texas was number 1, I think. But just not the dominant performances. Kind of speaking to your point against Austin Peay.
when it was Bama and Georgia head to head
Yeah.
every year for national championship or SEC championship.
So we'll see, but I think it's gonna be close, and I don't know. In a big game, I do like Georgia. Maybe of any of the teams in the country. It's the games they just lose focus against the weaker opponents. I think they'll play down to
Yeah.
their competition.
Yeah.
So I
They got
think
a little they got a little Gamecock action in them.
yes, they're like a fancier Gamecock. So I think I would lean Georgia in this one. But again, I think you're right. I think it's going to be a close one. So thank goodness after what we had to watch last week. Moving on, I think this might be the last matchup that has two top 25 teams, Texas A&M and the aforementioned Notre Dame. How are you feeling about this one, Petey?
I think it's a rematch of Week 1 last year. Is that right? I think Notre Dame. I don't remember the score. Notre Dame won last year, right?
Yes, they are favored by 6.5 this year as well.
So I don't know anything about A&M. They're just. I mean, they haven't played anybody really yet to give me any kind of inclination of what they're good at. I think Elko is a good coach. I think he's ready to play. And I think they're probably going to look to try and control the ball with a lot of run, I think. Just kind of overpower them.
Yeah, they've got the Marcel Reed, the quarterback. They finally seem to have settled on him. I know he played last year too. And you're right, Elko, very good quarterback. Reed, just a sophomore. Huh. So.
True sophomore?
No, not COVID, but redshirt, because he did play 2023. That's why I was confused. I was like, I feel like I've been more familiar with him. You're right. They haven't played anybody yet. I think what's troubling to me, UTSA is an okay program.
Yeah.
And Utah State, not a bad program, but they've given up 24 points and 22 points to those opponents while only scoring 42 and 44. I would like to see a bigger gap there. Reed has been great. 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the year. I think he also leads them in rushing. Notre Dame, they have to win this game, I feel like. They have to.
Yeah, they can't.
You can't lose 2 to start the season.
Yeah. They've technically they could lose these these 2 games and still make it in the playoffs because they're Notre Dame.
Yes.
As long as they went out. But that's a lot of pressure in order to fulfill your season goals and to get in the playoffs. But I think Notre Dame is probably a little better than I thought they were going to be. It took them a minute to get that quarterback going, but he is against Miami, but he's for real. And they've got weapons around him. So Notre Dame is the more rounded team, and when I pick, I'm always going to lean towards who has the better quarterback play, and I think that's going to be Notre Dame.
Yeah, and I think the big thing against Miami is they could just never get the running back Love going, and he was huge for them last season.
Yeah,
I think they get that figured out this week, and Notre Dame ends up winning it, but I'm ashamed to say I do think Elko does have A&M on the right track.
Yes, I think he's definitely he was the right coaching hire for them.
Yeah. So I hate it.
But it's hard to not look better than Jimbo Fisher.
That's true too. And I tried to point that out to these people, and they got very angry about it, and they let me know. And then they gave him a big Publishers Clearinghouse check at midfield. Well, not him directly, but they gave the athletic department that to buy him out.
They gave it to him. They're just going to give it to him over the next.
They did eventually. Yes. So I was right. Let's pick one more matchup if you would like. What else are you looking for this week?
So the other games that there's 3 other games I'm interested in, but I'll narrow it down to one. Clemson, Georgia Tech. that should be a top 25 ranked Georgia Tech team, I think. Clemson goes to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has proved that they are not an easy out for anybody. Last year and this year, the trend is continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were one of my sleeper teams this year. Clemson has not looked great. They struggled against Troy last week, and
That was disgusting. They should have lost that game.
they should have. I mean, I think Troy threw like 3 interceptions or something like that to get them back in it. But
Yep, they had diarrhea at the end.
I mean, Clemson's defense is fantastic. I think their offense is not as much. And then they struggled against LSU. Both them and LSU did not look great week one. Then they got to go to Atlanta and play Georgia Tech. Not that it's a far ride or anything like that, but this is not Georgia Tech of years past. They learned how to do things other than the triple option.
I think that's a loss. I think that's a loss for Clemson this weekend.
I hope so, but
I hate
Clemson. That one.
Yeah, like I will admit I am anti-Clemson, but
Yeah.
I'm also willing to admit when they are better than their opponent. Most of the time, that's been the case in the ACC. I think they lose this weekend against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I would not. I think this is going to be a close game.
Yeah.
But I think that Georgia Tech defense is going to be able to hold Clemson to very few points.
Yes.
I don't know what the spread
Agreed.
is.
Let's see. The spread is down to 3.5 in favor of Clemson. Opened at 6.5 in favor of Clemson.
Yeah.
And ESPN Analytics, they're going with the Yellow Jackets, 56% to 44%.
Really?
So me and the machines agreeing for once. If you wanted to mention the other two games real quick hitters before we get to the start of the
Florida and
show.
LSU. I think we'll find out what LSU is really made of, and if Florida has any desire to pretend they're going to compete in this league this year.
Would be very funny if Florida won this game. I would laugh.
Yeah. And then Wisconsin and Bama. I think we find out if Alabama has given up on the season or not. Wisconsin is not an easy out. I don't think they can do a lot offensively, but they've got a good defense. It's just it's not a cupcake coming in there. I think Wisconsin is a middle of the road pack or a Big Ten team, which is probably if they come there and hit Alabama in the mouth, Alabama might not want it. Or find out what kind of mindset Alabama is.
Yeah. I think that is those are two great picks because should answer some questions. I'm also curious to see what Ty Simpson can really do. And I feel like we have not heard from Ryan Williams much this year for Alabama either. So
did he get hurt?
So I think he did get hurt. So I'm curious to see if he's coming. Okay, he's still in concussion protocol, so we might not hear from him
Yeah.
this week either. But through, we'll call it a game and a half, 5 receptions for 30 yards.
That's not good.
No.
For one of the most, dynamic receivers in the country,
That was just in the Florida State game. So, okay, I'm glad I fact-checked myself because I was like, man, 2 games he did that. That's crazy. But, yeah, even so, against Florida State, 5 catches for 30 yards, not great. Hope he gets healthy and can show us more of what we saw as a freshman from him than what's been going on here recently. With that being said, Petey, do you hear that? That's right. It's time for everybody's favorite segment, the Gamecock Football Captain's Log with Captain Petey from Morris Island Charters. Captain Petey. Oh, man. A win against South Carolina State in the home opener that was delayed for about 7 days due to the weather. Did you come away feeling satisfied with this win?
Absolutely not. That's probably the most horrendous start to a game I've seen in a very long time that wasn't against you know that wasn't against an FCS skill. So I can't tell you the last time I've been more disgusted with the start to a game. We didn't score hardly any points on offense.
Yes, did not score an offensive touchdown until 11 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Vakari Swain again saved the day. 2 punt returns returned for touchdowns. He's got 3 on the season through 2 games. I believe that ties the program record for punt return touchdowns in a season. I think he holds that with Ace Sanders. But
Sense.
I tell you what, that was absolutely terrible. They were through one quarter. We were losing to South Carolina State 3-0.
Yeah. Yeah. We had bad field position the entire first quarter, but we are an SEC team.
Yes.
We should have just been running it over them. Like,
yes. And we did not.
We looked like we did not know how to block at all. The offensive line was absolute dog shit. And
This has been the theme here.
Imagine how it's that terrible.
This has been the theme for so long.
Yeah.
What is going on? How is this even possible? Because you would think with size and athleticism, we could at least overcome poor scheme or something and just, you're right, just like move these smaller defensive linemen back enough to have a leading rusher who has more than 30 yards, I believe. I think that, and that was.
I don't know. Remember, we
see,
could not
Jawan,
get going on the ground, which is an absolute embarrassment for offensively. I can't imagine that would be the case going into the half. That we'd not put up an offensive touchdown or any like anything. It's just I can't. I think we had a field goal to end the half. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
49-yard field goal from Joyce. William Joyce.
Which offensively not great either as far as our kicking goes. Was it was 1 for 2?
1 for 2.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, more of the same out of us offensively. We got to get that shit figured out quick because this week is going to be very bad if we don't.
So do you think is this a case of okay, it's a weaker opponent, so we're trying to just work on some new stuff, and that's why we look so terrible?
Different. I just saw them not being able to get any push.
Well,
I don't know if that's a lack of effort, sloppy, or not knowing your assignment, but that was. I mean, it was a lot of the same stuff we saw in week 1 too. Like we didn't. Our blocking scheme was non-existent or not understood. We just did not know what we were doing offensively to be able to move the ball.
Yeah, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Defensively, what did you see?
About the same. You know, we can't really cover that well. I get we had a lot of injuries, but like, shit. I mean, this is an FCS. I mean, granted, they won the championship last year at their level, but it's still, you know, we shouldn't be depending on 2 punt returns for a touchdown, another, a fumble for a return for a touchdown, and a defense. Like, we shouldn't be having all our points coming off of special teams and defense.
Yeah.
We're going to look like Kurt Ferentz over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and that's
you have a dynamic quarterback like we do.
Yeah, and so it doesn't make any sense. You're right. There's a very good FCS school, but we are allegedly a top 10 FBS
according to the rankings.
According to people, yes.
Yeah.
So you should not look like that against the best FCS school, and we have. And so now we look ahead here. As you mentioned, we are playing Vandy this week, 7:45 SEC Network. based on what you've seen through 2 games so far, this is a home game for us. Mm-hmm. What are your big concerns here? Other than we know the big concerns. I guess, how do you think it's going to go? We won't make the prediction yet, but where can they take advantage of us with the shittiness that we do have?
So last week, Vandy really just in the second half, they just was able to push aside Virginia Tech's defensive line and make gaps. I am praying that doesn't happen to us again. We're not as big as we were last year up front. I don't know. I am really scared that Vandy is just going to be able to manhandle us and push us out of the way. Also, Diego Pavia is a much better threat throwing the ball and running again, than Drones was.
Yeah.
We did not show a lot of stoppability week 1. I don't know if we have made any improvements in that fact. I couldn't really tell after this week, but I'm hoping we are ready for Diego because they've got some players, and I am not used to that out of Vanderbilt.
No.
They're going to come in ready to play. Also, Diego has said that this is his Super Bowl. He has called us out. This is the game that he's looking forward to most this year. So he's going to be ready to play.
I wonder if anyone's ever said that about us. Maybe Clemson at some point. I don't know if we've ever been anybody's Super Bowl.
Maybe.
Is it insulting to be Vandy's Super Bowl? Is that an insult?
I think that's the low standards for your Super Bowl, but
yeah. Huh. That is interesting. Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like we've had the same conversation about South Carolina football
for a decade now.
And can we block somebody and can we cover anybody? When we were great, that's what we were doing. We were blocking at least just enough to get yards on the ground and keep our quarterback off of the ground. And we had defensive backs who, if they couldn't cover, they would at least knock your head off your shoulders.
Well, they could at least cover long enough for our at least like last year. We didn't cover particularly well last year, but we had 2 outstanding defensive ends that were just going to cause havoc in the backfield.
Yeah.
And we were bigger. We could stand you up at the line. That's not the case this year. We're a little bit faster maybe, but we're not getting pressure like we were last year. And our ability to cover receivers is basically non-existent because I have not seen it happen yet.
No, and it's just such a bummer for that to have been the home opener of a season with all this hype, and you come out and you do that in the first half, and now this is the SEC opener, and if you have a back-to-back weeks like that, where even if it's a win, it's an ugly win, that's 3 straight ugly wins. Yeah. Gamecock fans, for some reason, somehow, we're always able to still show up and support the team, but it's like everything can't be ugly all the time. Yeah. Okay? There's only so much liquor in the state.
And this is not even the hard part of the schedule yet.
No. So I think we badly need to come out and look competent. I know another friend of the show, friend of ours, Brett Gosnell, sent us some information on the game plan this week. Apparently, Lenore's approached offensive coordinator Mike Shula. He wants to run the ball more. What do you think about that as a plan? And how much of that do you think has contributed to us being stuck in neutral on offense?
So, obviously, Lenore's is our best offensive weapon, running and passing. My fear with that is that we're going to get him hurt. And if we get him hurt, I saw our backup is Luke Doty, and I saw Doty come in and do not a lot of great stuff in the fourth quarter last week. Not very accurate. I love the guy. He's been there for 15 years.
Fantastic Gamecock. Yep, fantastic Gamecock.
He's got his
Glad he's on the
PhD. So I can't tell you that I have a lot of faith in that working, but it might be the only way we get a win. I don't think it's sustainable. I would rather see us try and test the ball down the field, get those defensive backs backed, on their heels, expecting more of pass so we can get more of a space to run the ball. I don't have faith in that happening because we've not really shown that we know what we're doing, throwing the ball, or blocking the run, or pass blocking either. But yeah, I mean, whatever it takes to win, but I don't have a lot of hope for that scheme. Also, I haven't seen out of what Shula's doing now either. So
that's true, and not a fantastic sign, I guess, when your backup quarterback is also on kickoff coverage. And that's been the case for a couple of years now, where I feel like our quarterback options also play wide receiver. And that's something I feel like you rarely see past high school.
Well, we had Doty doing it, and we had Joyner doing it.
Yeah. So what other SEC schools are using their backup quarterbacks on kickoff coverage, I guess, would be my question. And I can't think of any, and that seems like a red flag.
Yeah.
So you're right. I am scared that would hurt Lenore's. But I'm scared he's going to get hurt regardless because we don't block very well. So we do have to figure out how to block long enough to take some shots.
It might actually make him less injury prone if he's heading downhill at a tackler instead of getting hit blindsided.
Yeah.
So who knows? It might be better, but I think that just takes a toll. I think you got at least another 10 games to play. I think that takes a toll on your ability down the road.
Yes. Especially when we've talked about before, he's also not a great ball security guy. So then you're opening yourself up to turnovers too. So although I do think a lot of that is him in the pocket, him dropping back to pass and trying to make something happen. He's got the ball wherever. But I don't know. We don't have to wait and see because as the captain of Morris Island Chargers, you talk to the Dolphins. We don't gamble. The Dolphins do. Where are they putting their entertainment purposes this week? The spread is currently 5.5 with South Carolina as a favorite.
So the outlook is not, it's not great. There's gray skies on the horizon. Here comes the squall.
Oh, man.
Batten down the hatches.
Get your foul weather gear ready.
Yeah. Get your slicker and your galoshes because it's about to get wet. Problem is, what that's going to affect the spread here is that they do come to South Carolina. It's probably going to be it's a night game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be bumping. Some will be playing. How well does Vandy handle that? Probably pretty fine, but Diego's been playing for 15 years.
That's true. He's older than Doty.
Yeah. The Dolphins are putting their money on Vandy this week, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think even if South Carolina does win, and I do think we can win, I think it's going to be closer, much like the Dolphins. It probably comes down to a field goal.
It's going to come down to some kind of spectacular punt return or a turnover, interception return for a touchdown. Something like that is going to have to happen in order for us to win. It's not going to be fantastic offensive play. It's going to be Vandy shot themselves in the foot somehow.
Yes. So, it's kind of depressing that we got here so soon with South Carolina football, but
yeah, we have 1 year. We got to enjoy it for 1 year. We got to break for 1 year.
Yep. Now back to the normal things that give me heartburn. So, all right then. Well, perhaps someone doesn't want to watch college football. They instead want a sunset cruise of the low country seas with Captain Petey. Where can they find you, Captain Petey?
MorrisIslandCharter.com. No S.
No S there.
Morris Island Charters
S there.
at gmail.com. Or call me, text me, 843-806. I'm sorry, 843-608-8006.
Beautiful. All that information will be in the show notes. This has been another week of the Nameless College Football Show. Will we have a name next week? Will we have graphics? I don't know. Probably not, but tune in and see. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.